Happy Valentine's Day from Laramie, Wyoming, a Walmart parking lot on the east side of town, where a storm is blowing in, but I can't wait to drive in the snow. So I'm gonna hustle myself into the storm because I just can't imagine doing anything more fun than driving in the snow. No, not gonna let you go, girl. You go, girl. Laramie is a really neat looking town. It reminds me, the downtown old area reminds me of Oklahoma City. Actually, a lot of Laramie reminds me of Oklahoma City. But this makes me think a little bit of Grand Junction, Horizon Drive. It's gotten a little more populated there, but that Jeep looks like a samurai. Maybe. So a bit of a windy day. All my work is taken care of up here. I do need to gas up. I left all my jackets on. I usually take all my jackets off when I get in the car for any length of time, but not so long from now I'll be filling up. Occasionally, I'll stop here and get a foot-long hot dog. They're probably the most keto friendly is probably the right term. They are probably the most keto friendly kind of food that I can get there. Although there's a lot of bread there, so. I wanted to run down this street, and of course I immediately have some body on my ass. Well, she's just going to have to put up with it because if she doesn't like it, she can go somewhere else. No, I don't mean go to hell. I mean, she can go find another road. I'm not that bad. Until I get cranky, and then I might get that bad. Attitude is a huge thing. I have noticed something about this trip that somewhat bothers me. After riding in this car for roughly 200 miles up to Laramie, I develop a cough for the rest of the day. So I don't understand that, but it is definitely annoying to me. The reason that I'm going down this street is because it's an interesting street. A block over is Grand Avenue, the main east-west drag here. But the houses are neat here, and there are some actually really pretty buildings down this way too. So it's a nice neighborhood. I really do like it. I don't know that I like the idea that we're just a block away from a college. There's a lot of traffic, but it's not like I'm thinking about moving to Laramie. But if for some reason I decided I wanted to move to Laramie, I like the town. The makeup of Laramie is probably more conservative than Steamboat, but not as conservative as Craig. But really, at the end of the day, how much does that really matter? You know, as long as people live and let live, it doesn't really matter. So I do believe this is an old part of town. Look at the trees. They are massive. Pines, cottonwoods. I believe that's what we've got here. And the houses in this neighborhood I really like it's not like it's a fancy neighborhood, but I like it because it reminds me of Oklahoma City. It does, it really truly does. The houses are like the old town type houses in Oklahoma City. It's just a very similar design. And I wonder about that and about the college. I just wonder how that was, if that was exported, if that was just the time and that style was popular, or what, you know? Okay. So I lost a person behind me. She wandered off somewhere else. But she wasn't really on my tail too badly. So I'm glad to say I wasn't holding her back. I'm not understanding what this cough is. Getting some sort of irritant from this car. Maybe it's mold, maybe it's oil fumes, maybe it's plastic, something burning somewhere. I'm not smelling it. I would think maybe I'm going to say there's a good chance it could be mold of some kind. I don't know what this building is. Civic Center, Laramie Plains Civic Center. That's quite a building. I'm really impressed with that. So that must be an auditorium. I would assume it's a Civic Center. I think that's typically what a Civic Center really ends up being. And then some church stuff, Islamic center. So there's Islam, a big Islam population here in Laramie, maybe. I really like that house. That is a cool house. It's probably a bear to heat, but I like the brickwork. I like the metal, all of the stonework on it too. So I'm having an issue with this camera. I don't know if it's the battery or the camera. I've got some extremely large batteries that for this camera, so that I have a long duration recording time, and the batteries could be going bad. I wouldn't be surprised. Trying to find a good battery nowadays is extremely difficult. So anyway, this is just the back end of downtown. And it's pretty cool. I like it. A lot of the stores are not that incredibly useful. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, no offense. So this little walkway is really neat. I like it. It crosses the the railroad yard, goes over the top of it. So it's pretty neat. I do like that. I have no idea why it's here, but it does look like an old trestle, an old bridge of some kind. Whether it was something else and is now a walking bridge, I really don't know. But I'll just keep along the back way here for a moment or two. There's a structure over to our right, really pretty, sort of a craftsman style. There's a lot of wood on it. Oh, neat. That's a cool old motorhome. Those are somewhat in demand. And then there's a big snowplow here. Looks like it's decorated. Probably really pretty at night. Snowplow and steam engine, which you can't see. Actually, I could make, maybe I could make that work. Let's try this. There we go. Look at that thing. That's pretty cool. Definitely an old part of town here. I really think that this may be the oldest part of town down in this area. These houses really have that look of the houses in really old mountain towns. Small, steep roofs. There's just that, they have that feel, that look to them. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use this or not. I'm testing my camera out. It's died on me twice today. Well, that's interesting. Let's just go down here real fast. These are these houses, this cabin, let me point it out to you, is logs. Those are all logs. That's pretty cool. I find that to be quite interesting. That doesn't mean it's old, but it could certainly be old. Pretty neat. Yeah, this is definitely an old part of town here. Very, very interesting. And the railroad yard. I guess if you're looking for hookers, looking for companionship, this is probably where you come in Laramie. Come down to the railroad yard. I am joking. I make a big joke. I make a big joke. So yeah, I'll go ahead and just cool little areas. Some history for sure. Yeah, I'll go up 2nd Street. I stopped at a local HVAC store because I need to get a particular fuse that I can't get from an auto parts store. But it's like an auto fuse. It's got the plastic. They're square. They got the 2 lugs on the bottom of them. Number on the top. I needed a 3 amp fuse for my heater, and so a guy that was in there, he was working. He had one, and he gave me the fuse. But I was going to pay for it. The lady said that's going to be $17.50, $17.50 for a fuse, for a probably a 75 cents fuse or something like that. So they are really getting the markup. I left them with some money. I had a $10 bill that I had won on a bet. Actually, I bet my brother-in-law about the prices of gas, and I beat him fair and square. But so I gave them that $10 bill for that 75-cent fuse. What is that person doing? Huh? Yes, they had their hazards on for that person. Oh my gosh, we've got to turn our hazards on. Why? Well, we don't really know. But we're going to. So, here we are on 2nd Street, Old Town. It's so cool. It looks to me like this might be an actual shoe company, what it says it might be. The rest of these, for the most part, are not the kind of stores that you really have too much. And I'm not picking on these people. I'll go ahead and get onto 3rd Street now, because it's extremely hard to have a store that would have actual useful products in it anymore. And try to source distributors and try to compete with 7-Elevens, with Walmarts, with, well, you know what I'm saying. That it becomes incredibly tough to do that. And so people do the best they can. So I'm not picking on anyone. I'm actually extremely happy that these people are keeping the downtown open. It's really important. I've seen a lot of towns that don't have the downtown that they used to have. I'm going to go ahead and turn quickly here. And it's sad to see that. A great example of that is Western Oklahoma. There are so many small towns that are just basically abandoned. The downtown for sure, just abandoned. And if you've driven through that area, you know what I'm talking about. And it's not just Oklahoma, but it's a lot of the rural areas that have been hit really hard. By progress, I suppose, by the Kmarts, the Walmarts, the big stores that come in, the internet. That and a lot of manufacturing. There used to be a lot of manufacturing in little towns. You would be shocked. I was shocked. Several years ago in Craig, there was a building that was being emptied out, and it had some amazing machine tools in it. They were manufacturing something, I don't know what it was, but that's not the exception, or that used to not be the exception. Somebody's got a noisy truck. Oh, this guy does. Anyway, whatever. We do what we can. A bunch of noisy vehicles there. So getting out of Laramie is somewhat difficult, actually. You have to make your way to this road. I think there's another road up about a mile that you have to make your way to. And there are, 4 exits, I think, for Laramie? There's East Laramie, and there is, I believe, 3rd Street. And I think that might be 2 more, maybe 1 or 2 more. So anyway, oh, my camera has survived. I wonder if the way the, well, I just wonder if the battery is getting bounced around, jostled around enough to break a connection, because that would certainly do it. And here we are in this weird street. I think this is a strange street. It starts out at 30 miles an hour, then it goes to 45 in the center of it, then it drops back to 30 on the edges. And I've never seen anyone go 30. Like, here's the 30 mile an hour sign. It makes no sense to me. I got a guy behind me. I'm doing about 42 now. Well, he is actually turning off, but he was on my tail pretty hard. If he was going straight, he would have probably passed me, still going 40 something. I just don't get that kind of understanding. I mean, that's not how people drive in traffic. To just arbitrarily slow down to another speed for no reason, when you could just slow down at the stoplight, for instance. And that would be, that personally, that would be the place to change the speed. But I don't know. Just kind of meandering about that. So we are headed west now. Pretty much due west. And I believe this is 230. It's 130 or it's 230. And then they will split in a little bit. One is 130, one is 230. So, and by the way, it's 11:51. Well, I'm throwing numbers that sound like time out there. Why not go ahead and just mention the time? Storm is coming in, moving in. I was through it this morning. I'm dreading driving back over rabbit ears, but I think it's probably my best choice. Interesting. Before I do that, though, I need to spend some money and put some fuel in this car. So that is what we're doing right now. All right. And what is the price? Wow. Okay. All right.